Greetings, family. So, tonight I am going to talk about being aware of what you are letting into your consciousness. So, you may be asking yourself, well, what does that have to do with the power of tranquility or being calm? And what I will say is that for the most part, what that has to do with it is that I have shared that the power of tranquility really comes from within. However, you are heavily influenced by external things, external information, whatever it is that you're reading, whatever it is that you may be watching on television. And a few months back, I remember talking to my youngest son, and he was telling me, "Oh, Mom, you need to check out this show. It's called The Squid Game." Well, I did try it out. I couldn't seem to get past 5 minutes of the show, simply because I just did not like the energy and the nature of the character. So, what I do generally when I find myself in that place, I will fast forward to the end to find out what all the hubbub is about in it. Let's just put it this way. I had made an executive decision in that moment after I found out that they were participating in a game where all of these people who were in debt um, were in a competition for money. I was just like, yeah, that's not what I want to allow in my consciousness. I don't want that message about money to influence anything that I may be doing. And I'm not willing to spend hours upon hours of my time allowing that to just be a thing. And mind you, what I'm going to share with you, what you should be aware of is that, companies spend billions upon billions of dollars to get just a snippet of your your time, your energy, and your thoughts focused in on them. And if you don't believe me, you can check it out for yourself. But I have my handy dandy notebook with me, and I can go through some of the numbers that I researched and found out. So for the year 2020, 200 or $249.8 billion collectively for the United States was spent on advertising. And the numbers that I'm about to give you now are just some of the industries that are looking to influence you and just get a modicum of your time. And they do this over and over again in order to get you into that place where you will be willing to purchase their product. So, the beauty industry has spent $3.7 billion. The tobacco industry has spent $8.2 billion. The food industry, $14 billion. In the car industry, $12.42 billion in advertising just to get your attention so that you can purchase their product. Now, mind you, I'm talking about the advertising industry and but I'm talking about media, all forms of media. So the thing is that when I'm talking about media, I am also talking about advertising too. But the thing is just be mindful of the stories that you are really letting into your consciousness. Myself, I do prefer comedies. I do prefer romances, things of that nature, or informational material when I go ahead and I listen or allow myself to be in a place of listening or watching or reading. I'm more likely to do a documentary as opposed to you know, some bang bang shoot 'em up movie. And although I do watch those from time to time, I do for the most part kind of limit that to movies, because that's a shorter amount of time in comparison to a whole series where it would take me several hours to like ingest that information, because I don't like the arcs, the highs and the lows that quite often come with some stories. And sometimes I may not be in a place of really being willing to accept that, because there's a part of me that feels that I am emotionally being manipulated, and I just need a break. And, my son had asked me, my oldest son had asked me after I had shared with him that, that I don't watch series. And that is the reason why. Because, I don't want to go through those hills and valleys, because I feel like I'm being manipulated by the story. Like, quite honestly, I think that I'm at a place where I would rather be telling a story as opposed to being inundated with stories that come to me through whatever forms of media that there may be out there. So I also feel that it's kind of incumbent upon a person, after they get to a place where they are concerned with being calm and being tranquil, just allowing themselves the opportunity and time to direct what type of information comes to them, so that they're more self-directed, as opposed to letting everything be inundated, because we are constantly being influenced all the time. We have our devices like this phone on our cameras and things of that nature. And, the advertisers have become more and more involved in the process of selling. And there's nothing wrong with that, but also just be in a place of being mindful that advertisers are looking to influence your consciousness to purchase things. And the stories that are being told are those stories in alignment a lot of times with what it is that you would like to experience for yourself and to experience in the world. Your consciousness is constantly being bombarded, and it is time to be mindful of what you let into your consciousness, especially if you are in a place or have been in a place where you haven't experienced a calm and tranquil experience, especially when you begin. So anyway, that is it for this evening. And I hope that you all have a great weekend, and may peace and power follow you wherever you go. Bye, family.